We're joined by Jacqui Lambie, who was re-elected to the Senate last week for another 6 years. Jacqui, welcome back to News Breakfast and congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
Was the race a bit closer than you'd expected? I'm sure you were sort of chewing your nails there for a moment or two.
To be honest with you, I was more worried about Labor because obviously they've taken their 1 or 2% off most as they've been going on. And I could see them that last 2.5 weeks going into the election actually really starting to, people really starting to have a good look at them and say, I think we'd rather be safe than sorry. So I think we all lost out 1% or 2% out of that. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? We did everything we could. We went out there. We didn't have all the money that we usually have either because we rely on the average punter out there. The average punter the last 18 months to 2 years just hasn't had that extra $10 or $20 that they've been donating to us. So we did find that a real stretch. And once again, mate, I'm getting old and quite frankly, standing on those street corners, doing the pre-polling and stuff like that, my hips and my body won't do that anymore. And I'm not prepared to go and ask other people to go and do that for me if I can't stand there with them. So that was a bit of a problem itself.
Well, congratulations nonetheless. Glad that the body held up. I wanted to get your views on some policy issues. House prices are rising again. The government's going to put in place some measures, it's promised to at least, for first home buyers. Analysts expect that might juice the market a little bit more. Is the situation sustainable in Australia, do you think, for the average Australian?
I think that we got so far behind in housing and especially public housing builds for those people on those waiting lists that everybody is behind. That's the problem that we have. There are thousands of houses that have been ticked off that need to be built. Do we have the tradies out there? Probably not. Do we have the materials out there? Probably not. And that is the problem that we have. So right now everything's been ticked off. There is billions of dollars out there to spend on housing. So let's get that soil turned and let's get those houses built as quickly as what we possibly can, because quite frankly, apart from maybe chucking in some negative gearing, some other bits and pieces, trying to get people, those young people out there getting their home loans reduced right down and leaving them on fixed terms from 5 or 10 years, I just don't see how we're going to play catch up, mate.
On another issue, the PM is pushing back a bit against the Trump administration on its comments around defence spending and also its increased steel tariffs. How would you like to see Anthony Albanese deal with Donald Trump when they meet in about a fortnight or so?
I think that all leaders around the country right now would like to be able to deal with Donald Trump, in a room and properly actually be able to deal with him, with his temperament that he has. We don't know what he's doing. This is the problem. He's so unpredictable. He's doing one thing for breakfast and then he's reversing that by lunch. And that is very, very difficult for any world political leader out there right now to deal with someone like Donald Trump. And I think we've just got to do the best that we possibly can. The best those other nations, those other Western nations could be doing is actually having meetings behind the closed doors without Donald Trump, if that's what it takes, and work out where the trade is, where we have our interests in common, where we can combine forces and do things like that, and leave the US on the sidelines to go and deal with itself, because quite frankly, it is an absolute mess over there, and I only expect that result to get worse as we're going on throughout the year.
Just before I let you go, you've said this is going to be your final term in the Senate. Is there one thing that you want to complete or achieve over the next 6 years before you leave Canberra for good?
Yeah, sure, mate. Look, I'd like to make sure there's over 100 recommendations from that Veterans Suicide Royal Commission. I'd like to see that put into place. And quite frankly, I think it's about time Tasmania got its fair bloody piece of GST from over there, especially in Western Australia, because those minerals that they have over there belong to every bloody Australian. And quite frankly, I think it's really important Tasmania starts getting its fair share to the comparison that we just don't have that minerals in our ground down here.